Garvita.
Hi, Ira. How are you? I'm so excited to be here today.
I am really excited to be, doing something productive on a Sunday. Otherwise, I'm really lazy. I mean, I'm really glad that, we've called us back to work. Like, I'm going back to the studio now. So, ek wo khushi hai ki thank God I'm getting to see other faces than my parents and my brother and my dog. Because I think we're kind of like, we love each other so much, but we're also very sick of each other. Ki bhai, aur shaklein dikh jaye. So, yeah, I mean, lockdown, I thought यार एक हफ्ते में खत्म हो जाएगा बहुत सारी उम्मीदें थी.
Ira, what do you think? What are the positives that have come out of this new normal?
Really? I mean, listen, like, let's just be very honest. I don't know. I mean, only one thing for me is that me and my family got to spend a lot of time together. My dad, he mostly lives in Mumbai 5 days. My mom works. My brother, he studies. So the lockdown kind of threw us in together. We were forced to be together, and we never had to spend so much time with each other. So suddenly, there are game nights happening. Every night we'll play Uno, or every night we'll play some card game or board game or this or that. So like, I think my family kind of knows each other a lot better now, and we're a lot closer. But I think that's about it.
I was thinking, since I read that you're the youngest RJ, you joined Radio Mirchi at 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
So, and that was a time when you were still juggling with your course at college. So what motivated you to stay for such a long time? And you're still so inspiring and, all power packed about it.
I mean, see, dude, I never thought that I would become a RJ, right? Like, bade ho ke RJ banegi, nobody thinks that. People still think actor and ye wo. This is that no one really thinks about it. And then one day, I think Facebook pe maine ek ad dekha tha ki, so, hey, do you want to be an artist? वो ad चल रहा था, like यार कोई देख नहीं रहा है, I can do it. अब hey, send an email. I'm like, कोई नहीं अपनी जज कर रहा है, कोई नहीं देख रहा है, भेज देते हैं. ऐसे 2-3 बार उनके साथ, conversation हुआ, and I'm like, I can't believe this thing is actually happening. And I mean, my parents were really supportive, thankfully, that they were like, ठीक है, तो दोनों साथ में कर लो पढ़ाई यहाँ पे कर लो, as long as you're saying you can manage both, go ahead with it. So yeah, that's kind of how the entire thing came about. And dude, my dog was like really so excited to meet so many people. Like, probably have met every actor you have a crush on. Okay. So tell me why I will not be excited. I remember I was only 20 years old when I was traveling from Pune to Mumbai for my first interview. Because the boss, she sits in Mumbai. I was auditioning actually for a different radio station from Radio Mirchi. एक नया स्टेशन खोलने जा रहे थे वो लोग. तो मैंने बोला कि चलो इंटरव्यू इतना अच्छा सब गया है, ये लास्ट राउंड है, तो मैं अपनी ये लेडी को इम्प्रेस करके आऊंगी, मेरे को ये जॉब चाहिए. आई गेट डाउन एट दादर एंड आई एम लाइक, यार ईरा, यू फॉरगॉट टू गेट योर रेज्यूमे का प्रिंट आउट. कैसे मेरे घर से फोन करके आई गेट अ प्रिंट आउट फ्रॉम समवेयर एंड देन आई हेड टू द ऑफिस. व्हेन आई वॉक इन, I just see this. I mean, the Radio Mirchi Mumbai office, if you ever get to go, please do. It's such a lovely place. It's so energetic. Like, you walk in and you feel like you've gone into a different world. First of all, the music's kind of blaring in the background. The radio's always playing. There's beanbags here and there. There's musical instruments here and there. People are just chilling, doing their thing. It was so fun, and I knew I wanted to be a part of it. Even for whatever reason, my brain thought that I'm cool enough to do all of this. मैं चली. So the lady that I was meeting, her name is Indira. So I meet her, and she is one really intimidating woman. Let me tell you, like, she must be in her late 30s, and she's got like this short colored hair. She's wearing this huge bimbi. She's got like these big glasses. And everything about her is so perfect. It is so polished. मुझे ना अपने स्कूल की प्रिंसिपल की याद आ गई. I'm not kidding. I was kind of like, I kind of got a little nervous. Not a little. I'm just like, I think that was maybe too, kind with the words. I was very nervous. It was kind of funny. So I'm sitting there. I give her my resume. Chalo, I am ready. Whatever it is. I have a, मतलब 20 साल की बच्ची का क्या ही रिज्यूमे होगा यार, बट थोड़ा बहुत मैं इवेंट्स वगैरह होस्ट करती थी, एंकरिंग इधर किया हुआ था, तो उतने बात का थोड़ा बहुत घमंड था मुझे. She doesn't even look at my resume. She just kind of throws the paper on her desk and she looks at me and she asks me, Ira, what do you think about love? I'm like, ये क्या इंटरव्यू हुआ भाई? all these things that they prepare you for in your college, in your school, that, interviews are like this, interviews are like that. She asked me, what are your opinions on love? What is your definition of love? Have you ever been in love? Have you ever had your heart broken? Have you, broken someone's heart? And I'm just sitting there and I'm frozen at this point. Like, I don't know how to respond to her. I don't know what to say to her. So I kind of, start giving like these really one-worded answers. I'm kind of uncomfortable. And I can tell that, she doesn't like it. But, she's still entertaining me. So then she asks me, Ira, tell me something that you're really passionate about. पता नहीं क्या हुआ मेरे दिमाग को उस समय. I go like, I don't know, I think world peace. As if I am some Miss Universe ka contestant. That is the answer I gave. And there also she doesn't say anything. Then she asks me this one question, Ira, why do you want to be an RJ? ये I was confident about कि हाँ मैंने anchoring की है, मुझे बात करने आता है. So I say, because I talk a lot and I know how to talk. She rolls her eyes, like right in front of me. She doesn't care. She rolls her eyes and she says, I don't care about people who can talk a lot. I am surrounded by people who talk really well. मैं क्या करूँ with someone who talks? And dude, I am embarrassed at that point. Like, I thought that was going to be it for me. That was going to be the impression-making moment. Nothing. My ideas of what is appropriate doesn't always apply. You have to understand that सामने वाला person क्या सोचता है, सामने वाला person की body language क्या है. Because a lot of conversations that you make, I'm not talking about the conversations that you make with your friends. You're already comfortable. So I'm only, addressing strangers here. I'm only addressing people that you want to make an impression in front of. You need to analyze the person you're talking to a person who will say a 5. You must not talk a 4. You must not talk a 3. Your level of conversation, your open-mindedness should be around 6, maybe 6.5. Anything above that, you're pushing it. The सामने वाला person is not going to accept your ideas. उन्हें लगेगा कि ये क्या बकवास कर. When we talk about मुझे बात करना बहुत अच्छा लगता है, I should probably become an RJ, or maybe I should pursue a career that involves public speaking. So what exactly is speaking and what makes a good speaker? Now that's the next thing that I want to talk about. One thing that we need to normalize, and that is silence. When you're talking to someone, the way I'm talking to you right now, I'm taking a lot of pauses. I'm allowing myself to think. And that is one thing that a good speaker should always do. Give yourself time to think. Give yourself time to frame sentences. For whatever reason you might think कि सामने वाला इंसान तुमसे फट एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा है, ऐसा कुछ. तुम पॉज लेके बात करो. तुम 1-2 सेकंड रुक जाओ. सामने वाले को कुछ पता नहीं चलेगा. In fact, if you try it out with a couple of people, you will see that you're going to sound a lot smarter. You're going to sound like, you know what you're talking about. I am doing it right now. I don't know if you can tell. But that is one of the things that I truly believe in, is that a good speaker is someone who really listens well.
That's wonderful, and I think I have to completely agree with everything you just said. When we're in the age of say 20 to 30, we all think we're right somewhere or the other, but we really have to listen to the other person and absorb maximum. So I think that was correctly said. And with that, we have a lot of questions also coming up from our attendees. So the first question that I have for you is that, in your talk you mentioned about a scale in which you see, in which you regard yourself from 1 to 10, where you want to be and what you are right now, right?
Yeah.
So how do you analyze if you progress? How do you analyze that progressive level?
Okay, so here's the thing. I think back when I joined the video Mirchi, right, like we were asked to put ourselves on the scale of progression. So, but obviously, I thought I'm a 10. मैं तो दुनिया की सबसे प्रोग्रेसिव इंसान हूँ. मतलब मेरे को सारे आइडियाज ओपन है, एक्सेप्टेबल है. Until 1 year later, some guy comes around and he's like, "Hey, Ira, so let's be polygamous." And I'm like, "Huh? ये नहीं होगा." Wow, I have a lot of judgments that I didn't even realize that I got to unlearn these things. So obviously, the scale of progression that I'm talking about will differ from person to person. Today, when I, sit and try to talk to a person and I evaluate that, okay, ठीक है, he seems like she's open to these kind of ideas or, whatever it is, that scale will obviously be directly proportional to how progressive I am.
I think you correctly said we have to unlearn in order to learn new things. So I think that is the key takeaway from this.
I remember this one day I came across on Twitter, I came across this one lady who was talking about how her dog had been stolen, right? This tiny little 2-3 month old beaver, कोई food delivery boy से चुरा के ले गया वो जब बाहर खेल रहा था. And of course that woman, she was heartbroken. Imagine now, this is a very big shot lawyer, okay, in Mumbai and Pune, very intimidating woman, great woman in fact. She was in tears when I spoke to her. She was crying. She's like, he stole my baby. I don't know how to get him back. मैंने कहीं से उसका नंबर ढूंढ के निकाला है, बट वो मुझसे कह रहा है कि मैं सोच के बताऊंगा आपको कितना वापस देना है या नहीं. Can you imagine? So I got in touch with her, and using radio and Twitter, both of these mediums, we managed to track down that boy, the delivery boy. And, we sent our people to get the dog back. We got the dog back in the evening. Like, we started this dog hunt in the morning, sometime around 8 o'clock on our show. And by 7:30, 6 o'clock, 7:30, they reached me. The dog was back with the lawyer. And it was in Barish bottle. Last year, Pune had terrible monsoons. I remember it so well because I was like in the greatest mood that I've ever been in my whole life. I love dogs. I have a dog myself. So, I could understand why she was so excited, so happy. She was in tears when, we got the dog back. I was going home. बारिश ऐसी हो रही है, पेड़ इधर उधर गिरे हुए हैं, and flood-like situation हो गया था. Flash floods आए हुए थे. We had to turn around and go to office. That night, I slept at office. I slept on the office couch. But I have zero complaints because honestly, that day I felt like, I had done something really good. So of all the shows, I think that one is the most precious one.
The question, this is by someone named Ashish.
Hi, Ashish.
So he has a question. He says that since you're an influencer and you're very active on Twitter, and you're very outspoken and vocal, and you consider yourself kind of an activist. So sometimes you have to take bold decisions, right? Something that is against the majority of the people. But then how do you convince yourself to do that?
Dude, I think it's all about not being scared of the consequences. I know there are going to be consequences, right? Sometimes I will put out a tweet that's not in line with majority, and there will be people in the comment section who are tagging cyber ghosts and Pune police and Mumbai police saying that ये लड़की को देखो ये भड़काने की कोशिश कर रही है, which is not the case. I'll show you the tweets that I'm talking about. I'm literally, talking about something that does not, talk anything related to riots or something. But you know how the trolls are, right? वो बोल ही देंगे कि हाँ ठीक है, इसको arrest करो, ये anti-national है, ये वो. So how do you convince yourself to say the bold things that you do? I think if at some point you're going to see certain wrong things that just, make your brain goes, ये क्या हो गया boss? And Twitter by itself is such a place now that automatically तुम्हारे अंदर का गुस्सा वहीं पे दिखता है. It's like a diary. For me, so at least it's a diary. So when something really, really moves me, whether it is political or not, I will speak about it. Consequences be damned. Honestly, देख लेंगे, जो होगा देख लेंगे.
Do you think that this part of rating ourselves, it brings out a level of ego between two people? Do you think that happens?
Is it really about ego though? Because when I use a skill, right, I'm not using it on my friend or anything, obviously. I'm using it to assess a conversation and to assess how much the samne wala person is going to be acceptable to my ideas. If I'm talking to someone, who is not very progressive, the background that they come from is just, it's not open to too many ideas, or maybe they are too orthodox. How am I going to expect him or her to, suddenly, support ideas that they've never even heard of? That unlearning happens slowly. So I don't think this is a matter of ego or this is a matter of judgment. I know that it sounds judgy, but really it's about putting that person in a comfortable space. You assess how much you want to say so that that person doesn't feel uncomfortable when they're having a conversation with you, so that they feel heard, so that they feel accepted. So that's the whole idea. It's not about ego and it's definitely not about judgment. It's about helping someone, see a different side to things. Obviously, what they decide to believe in is up to them.
Well, I think that answers the question broadly. There's one person in the audience and they have a question कि कभी-कभी you are in a position of responsibility, आपको constraints होते हैं, and at that point of time you just simply feel that you can't do it, like they might not work. Right. So in that case, what's your take on this? And in that case, what do you do and what should your headspace be like?
Okay, so that's what I was getting at initially, is that, there is a matter of privilege that definitely comes in, right? Dating is a very, very privileged thing to say. So when, you have certain responsibilities on your head, like you said, on your head, you're accountable to something. What do? Here is when kind of, you kind of have to, this is such a weird thing to say, but internship initially when you're in college, right? I think that is very, very important, and I think a lot of people now have automatically started going for internships. So that is very important because that kind of gives you the exposure. If you start looking for jobs after your college, I'll tell you that there's a lot of people who've done internships and they've got some sort of an experience. So while you're in college, if you can squeeze in the time, try to apply to places or in the fields that you would like to work at, so that you have experience. Tomorrow when you go to approach your passion, at least you will have something to show that, hey, this is why I am better than this candidate, because I have already worked in this field. I have some sort of understanding in it. So yeah, I get it. Like somewhere that is one way to tackle privilege. I mean, privilege is a very ugly thing. So there's not much to do, but preparing yourself when you're young, like if you know what you want to do, that is, my brother, for the longest time, he couldn't figure out what he wanted to do in life, and that is cool too. That's a different journey for him to take. But if you're certain about the passions and the fields that you want to further in, start preparing for it. Like, even if it's online, you want to write, start writing articles online. But, start working on it.
I think with that, we have come to the end of the Q&A round. And I also have to say, with that, we have also come to an end of this webinar and the series 2.0 of Dialogue, a Lockdown Narrative. I was काफी ज़्यादा excited, काफी fun हुआ, and बहुत power packed था. It was just great having you today.
Thank you so much, Garvita. I had so much fun coming here. Like, I'm speaking to so many of people, and I'm assuming that most of you are in Punjab right now. And, I was like, तेरा plan था पता ये साथ पंजाब आने का, तो अभी डिजिटली तो आ गई. Hopefully जल्दी कोरोना के बाद भी आऊँ.
Definitely, if you ever come, we will be there and we would love to meet you. I think my entire team would be there to greet you, so you will have a familiar face also. I think it would be great. It has been great digitally, and I hope we can make it to the new normal, all of us being optimistic, like you said, working on ourselves. So fingers crossed, I have.
Yeah.